Step 5, give clear next steps. Think of the layers of relationships in Jesus' ministry as an example for us. If the Sermon on the Mount is like the Sunday service, that's where you learn to love God with all your heart. That's where you connect. Think of Sundays as an advertisement for your community. Then you have the 70. That's a network or a ministry. That's where you learn to love the Lord your God with all your strength. That's where you serve. Then you have the 12, a life group. This is where you love the Lord your God with all your mind. This is where you grow. Then there's the 3. These are like running partners, accountability partners. This is when you love the Lord your God with all your soul. Someone knows you and you know someone. Now, rather than thinking of 4 different things to do, think of this as layers of relationship. You can simplify your life when your running partners are part of your life group, and your life group serves together as part of a network, and your network is part of a community that meets together on Sundays. So let me walk through these layers of relationship and how it works. What you're trying to do is get the people in your city into your services, that Sermon on the Mount, where you're casting vision of what could be, of a relationship with God. And what we do every Sunday at Gateway in South Austin is I stand up and say, and if you're ready to move out of anonymity into community, the best way to do that is to serve others with others. So I want to invite you to go through Starting Gate. It's 10, 15 minutes. It'll give you an inside look of ways you can jump in and get connected. So let me walk you through these layers of relationship. We're trying to get people from the city into our Sunday services. And there at the Sunday service, we're not inundating them with announcements. In fact, our entire staff is on the same page. If we can move people from Sunday mornings into serving, we've helped them take that clear next step. When someone begins serving others with others, suddenly they're more invested. They start coming more regularly. They actually see this as their church family. And it's not difficult to then go from serving others with others into a home. It's a big request to ask someone to go from an auditorium into a family room, but not if they know people. Suddenly, those they're serving with say, hey, come with me to my life group. They're more apt to do that. And so they've moved from the 70 into the 12. And in that context, we talk about really being open and honest with at least 1 or 2 others. And so that's where we begin to develop those relationships of 3, those running partners. And so these layers of relationship take some time. It's one of those processes that as you go further, you realize you're more and more connected, more and more engaged. And it's from that point that we commission folks, that we are asking them to now be fully invested, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually, that they are now the ones overseeing the lives of their people. This is the layers of relationship, moving people from the city all the way to being commissioned as part of our core. We can help turn the spiritually curious into world-class leaders for the kingdom of God. In addition, we can discover how to identify giftedness, invest in potential leaders, and empower them to serve in a way that maximizes effectiveness and avoids burnout. But here's the challenge. It's much like what we see in Titus. In Titus chapter 1, Paul writes and says, I want you to find elders among the Cretans. And it sounds like a great idea. But then he later writes in verse 12 that I acknowledge that even the Cretans themselves would say that Cretans are lazy, lying, gluttonous brutes. We have the same challenge. We're trying to take people who are evil, lazy, gluttonous brutes and turn them into elders. We're trying to move Cretans to become spiritual leaders. That's our challenge. And I want to walk you through a process that we see from Jethro in the scriptures, Exodus chapter 18, that will help us do just that.